Brown, and I'm interested in K-State's Master of Arts in Teaching program. And the reason I'm interested in this program is, well, I got my undergraduate degree in horticulture from K-State, and I'm very interested in some of the Masters of Language acquisition that there are at K-State. And so for this middle step of getting my teaching certificate, I thought, well, hey, K-State. And this is a decision that I've been thinking a lot about for the past year or so, off and on. And I've attended a couple of the online seminars, and I've sent several emails to TJ Dunce. He's been so wonderful and so helpful. And K-State is just willing to work with me on a lot of things. For one, I live in Missouri, not Kansas, and they're willing to help me with that and work with me, help me get this master's even through working in Missouri. And my goal actually is not to become a classroom teacher, but to become an English language learner teacher or English speaker of other languages teacher. And K-State has said, TJ has said, yeah, hey, we can help you get the practice. There's a couple extra classes you have to take, and then you're good. And I was like, awesome! So there's just all these positives with going to K-State that I'm like, it's worth it. I've worked with children a little bit in the past outside of the school system. When I was 18, I babysat my mom's best friend's kids, so kids I kind of knew and grew up with, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. While their parents were at work. I got them lunch and sometimes dinner, took them to swimming lessons. We went to the library. We did lots of fun things, like going to a trampoline park. We did a lot of fun things at home, talked a lot about Pokemon, just a lot of fun things I did with them for that whole summer. After that, I went to college and got my undergraduate in horticulture. Didn't really work much with kids at the time. After I graduated, I wanted to take a gap year, so I went to teach English in Japan, just as a fun thing. Worked with some high schoolers in Japan who are the sweetest. I love them. We set up an English club. It was a lot of fun. And when I came back to America, I was like, I want to keep doing that. So I worked in the Manhattan school system as a para for a semester before moving back to Kansas City, Missouri, and still working as an English language learner para. And so I've been working as a para for about a little more than a calendar year, but about a year and a half academic school year. And I have absolutely fallen in love with it. I love getting to work with the kids. I love getting to do field days and just getting to do all this fun stuff for them. I help put together a little thing for the talent show to entertain them. It's been a lot of fun getting to do stuff for them. They're the sweetest. So why do I think I'll be a successful teacher? I think one of my greatest traits of being a teacher is that I'm very adaptable, because at the end of the day, the goal is to help teach these kids English, at least as an ELL para, which is where most of my experience is. So sorry that most of that will relate back to that. But the goal is to teach these kids English. And sometimes you get told, hey, I don't think this is working. Or, hey, have you tried it this way? Or, hey, you need to do this to meet these guidelines or whatever. And you can't ever take any of that to heart. And you really have to set your ego aside and go, this is what might be best for these kids. Let's give it a try. Let's do it. And sometimes your schedule gets messed up, and there's so much testing that needs to be done with these ELL kids, like the access test and just general other testing that they need to go through. And you got to be able to help prepare them for this test, help get them ready, take the test, do all this stuff, and that can take several weeks where your schedule is just messed up. And, and that's okay, because that's what's best, that's what needs to be done. And so you can't get upset about any of that. And so I think being very adaptable is very helpful in this field. I also think that it's a good trait that I have, that I really want to take the initiative with trying to help out with these kids. like for example, like I've mentioned, my undergraduate degree is in horticulture. I love plants. So when Arbor Day came around and I couldn't find any good books about trees that I could help share with my kiddos, I was like, well, let's make one. This will be so fun. And so I've made a little book. It's native Missouri trees, and I tried to make it accessible to all of my kids, which is K through 5, so that was a bit of a challenge. So I would do I made the first letter of the page bigger than the rest, and so I could ask kindergartners and younger level readers, what's this letter? What sound does it make? What do you think this word might be? Oh my gosh, you got it. Nice job. And then for slightly higher level readers, I have these 2 bolded sentences, which are the same on every page. And it says, I am tree, and that has the name of the tree. Missouri is my home. And so they're recognizing these words, being able to read them and stuff from page to page. And then for slightly higher level readers, like second and third grade-ish, I've got 2 more sentences to add to their repertoire of reading. I am native to Missouri, and then a small fact about the tree. Like this one just says, my leaves are heart-shaped. So all words that they should know, that I think they would be able to know. And then 1 hard word, which is the word native, which they're reading on every page, so they're getting used to seeing that. And it's because it's hard, because it doesn't follow usual rules of English. And so exposing them to that is fun. And then for my higher level readers, my 4th and 5th graders, I've got this page that's just full of information, and some of them can't read it, and I help them a lot, and that's okay, because you know what? This book is mostly just about getting them exposed to trees that they might see outside of their home rather than rules of English, which of course it's important to balance both when you are working with ELL kids, because when you work with ELL kids, the goal isn't just to teach them English, but you also have to teach them English that's very applicable to their day-to-day life, instead of just, oh, you don't know how to speak English or read, that's okay, let's start, that's where you start with reading skills. But you also got to teach them some slang, because maybe they can read this picture-perfect book with the most best English that they've got, but that's not how their friends are going to talk on the playground. They're going to be like, I'm going to want to play tag. Ain't you want to do that? Trying to just think of sentences off my head with slang, but... And so getting to talk with them about that, I like being able to help with all those things. Anyway, sorry, I got a little rambly there. I think a third trait is that makes me a good teacher, is that I'm very positive, and I try to be helpful in a positive way. Nobody learns by being shut down all the time. So when a kid goes, did I do this right? The first thing you want to say is something, unless it's really bad, they did the totally wrong assignment, they just scrub it all over the paper, something like that. You always want to be like, wow, look at what you did. You did this right, you did this right, you did this right. We could work on this, but you also did this right. So let's, these are 3 awesome things that you did. Let's just focus on this one thing that could use a little bit of work. And depending on the age, building up hey, you did really good at this, but you need to work on this, and let's do that right now. Or this is an easy fix, this is a deeper fix that we will work on in our next paper, or something like that. But you never want to just shut down a kid. They're trying to learn, and learning should be fun. I love English. I think it's a fun language to get to play around with once you know the rules. And so getting to teach the rules and then being, hey, you know what? Here's how you can break that rule in a correct way that looks nice and is good. And so just you don't want to just sit there and be like, hey, you did this wrong. You want to encourage them. And I think I'm pretty good about that. Thank you for listening to watching my video essay. I hope that I was able to portray myself in a way that showcases why I would be a good fit for this program. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.